I'm going to be talking about these home pride flower sifters called Fred. They were originally born, and they like to call it that, they were originally born in 1964. So they're about the same age as me, although give or take a year or two. I got my first Fred in about, must have been about 1984. And I was at university at the time and actually started to collect quite a few things, particularly around the 1950s, which was my sort of specialist area at the time. And I was studying in Leicester, and Leicester has an amazing flea market and things. So I would wander around the flea market looking for sort of 1950s wear. And actually after a while it's all quite serious. It was sort of post-war things that I was looking for, I suppose. And then what started to catch my eye was this little guy who kind of like smiling at you, and you sort of think, oh, and actually when you look at them you just sort of like break into a smile, don't you? So, oh, that's really cute. So I brought one for, I don't know, something like 10p, something really, really cheap. And then of course you buy another one, and then before long you realise you've got this little army of men, you know, that you don't really know why you're collecting them or what you're doing with them. In 1963, 62, that sort of time, housewives, because they were housewives at that time, when they were baking they would have to sift flour. Because when you bought flour, it was actually quite lumpy and it would be in different grain sizes. So all the recipe books say sift your flour first. It was to make sure you got a consistent flour. And then Home Pride, or Spillers as they were, actually invented a method where you wouldn't have to sift flour. And so he was born as the chief flour grader. And I just think it's such a typical kind of early 60s response that a flour grader, the chief flour grader, is going to wear a top hat, bowler hat, you know, city gent sort of style. And then all he's got is 2 eyes and a smile. He's got no nose, he's got no ears, you know, he's just got this face on him. You collect for different reasons, and this collection became an accident, I think. So, and I think it was because of his quirky features, and also because they would then develop, you know, talk about taking a man with a bowler hat to the extremes. So this one, his hat has actually become the flour sifter, and his head is the bowl, and then he's got a little wooden spoon, you know, so you can actually do your baking. And I think it's because it became really quirky that I became really interested in him. Anybody really doing any baking, would you really go and take somebody's hat off and their head off? You know, to take somebody's head off to make a cake seems a bit weird to me. But I do like him actually, though.